formation. Squadron marching is with anything with more than 2 flights. Tracking?
Tracking.
So I've got some questions for you guys just to start. How much spacing in between 2 flights? Anyone? Okay, Wilson.
6 steps, sir.
Correct. Cadet Carlson.
3 paces.
Thank you, Cadet Carlson. So we're 3 paces in between each other. This seems like a little bit should over naturally. And then you're doing normal. Flight commanders will be 6 paces from their flight. Track it just like opening formation. And then this is the only thing that changes a little bit. We're going to be 12 paces from the flight to your squadron commander, Cadet Major Castro. If you did have a squadron deputy, he's going to be in the rear of the last flight in the squadron. And your squadron guidon bearer is going to be on this blue cone. Green cone, sorry. He's going to be on the green cone. And now we're going to show you how to get put into column formation.
Squadron!
Flight!
Squadron!
Flight!
Forward! Right!
Right!
Peace!
Guys, move where you have to go.
Key personnel, post!
Your key personnel are your flight commanders, in this case, Cadet Christoph and I, and then your guidon bearer and squadron commander. So your flight commander is going to move where your guidon bearer is in line formation.
Okay, you guys can go at ease, both flights, so you can look at this. So now we're in the column formation. As you can see, the squadron commander is going to be up here on this blue cone, and they're going to be 6 paces away from the first flight. Then we have the squadron guidon bearer that is 1 pace below and then to the left. The reason being is because when they do a present arms, they have to do the formal and go down. So Cadet Colonel Emerson, when he does it, doesn't hit Cadet Major Castro. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. Yes, Colonel Christoph.
Okay, and then, like Cadet Major Young was saying, the flight commander of the flight will be on these green cones. So whenever you get selected, you'll be right here, and you'll be next to the guide. The guide, right? Not the guidon bearer, but just the guide. So when it's time, when we march, and they call the flights to halt, you're going to be covering off the guide if you're the flight commander. And then, of course, like he said, there's going to be 3 paces away. And then the deputy is going to be in the back right for each flight. And that's pretty much the setup for the column formation. Now, note one thing, when you're the flight commander, it's going to take some practice, but every time we start to echoing the commands, you're going to turn your head to the right. Does anybody have any questions in the column formation? Sir?
In getting to the column formation, I noticed that when she called the facing movement.
Before we start moving, just a couple things. You are the flight commander, and if I say squadron, you say
Flight.
Alright. So, anytime I am saying a preparatory command, you are going to echo that, either saying flight, or if I say column right, you are saying
All right.
If I say forward, you say
Forward.
Alright. So, couple things to keep in mind, like he said, whenever you are the flight commander and you are saying these commands, you are always going to have your head turned to the
Right.
Alright. Same thing with cadence. Another thing is when the squadron commander calls commands to be performed in successive orders, such as column movements, leading flight echoes, preparatory command, while trailing flights will echo, continue the march. So, in this example, this is echo? Yes. Kilo? Zulu. Alright, so if I'm calling a column right, I would say column right.
Column right.
Continue the march.
Cadet Colonel Christoph would then call continue the march. So the flight commander for the trailing flights calls the preparatory command and command of execution to perform movements at the same location as the initial flight. Does everyone understand that?
Yes, Castro.
As a squadron commander, they may initiate initiate rolling cadence. So that is pretty much to prevent the squadron commanders from being out of breath and having the flight commanders take over that cadence. So when I call initiate rolling cadence, Cadet Young will then start.
Hut, 2, 3, 4. Hut, 2, 3, 4.
Hut, 2, 3, 4. Hut, 2, 3, 4.
And then it would go so on and so on if you had other flights behind you. As soon as I say cease rolling cadence, then the rolling cadence would just completely cease. Does everyone understand that?
Yes,
All right, so we're going to start off with Echo and Zulu flights, and then we will switch off with Romeo and Kilo. All right, so we're going to start from the beginning. If you are not marching, make sure you guys are paying attention, taking notes, because then you guys will be coming in, doing the same.